Happy Monday, guys. Brandon here. We have your market update and just some of the happenings of the world going on, and we're going to get into these and some of the more of the in-depth videos next day or so. But war games going on in China, Taiwan, US, kind of what's going on there. Models saying that if Taiwan, that becomes a thing, that China and the US would be decimated, would deplete everything they have. So we have that going for us. We also have the Iranians executing 2 protesters. So that's beautiful. 2 young people protesting the regime. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. That doesn't happen in Brazil. It doesn't happen in Canada with farmers. It doesn't happen with or in the Dutch, in Netherlands with farmers. It doesn't happen with truckers in Canada. It doesn't happen here in America as well either. So, we all we know is we have that going for us, is that, it doesn't end badly. It just doesn't, and we don't even have those things going on here. So nothing to see there, and so that's wonderful news. We also have people in South Sudan. South Sudan, I believe, fun fact, is the youngest country in the world. It's only about 11, 12 years old. I believe it was 2011 that it became a country, got its independence, and there's a video apparently of the 71-year-old leader there urinating down his leg apparently, and 6 people were detained. So just like the Iranian situation going on there, people getting detained for putting out a video of supreme leader there. So again, the unproductive class is shaking in their boots right now, and that's why the markets to me are just hilarious, because we're talking about these things that's like, at the end of the day, there's people being offed and there's people being detained for just spreading information, whether it's truthful or whether it's not truthful. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You as a human being need to be able to figure out what in the world's going on, and water finds its level at the end of the day. That's the thing that most of us have completely forgotten. And at the end of the day as well, life gets more and more decentralized. We've been talking about this a lot. Life continually gets more and more decentralized, so truth continually finds its way out. And when you have the unproductive class trying to stop free money, trying to stop free social media's decentralization of money and decentralization of media, decentralization of religion, of speech, and trying to stifle all those things, they're always on the wrong side of history, and they will always end up losing. But they do hurt a lot of people in the process, and that's what we're here to fight against. Question everything with boldness, trust but verify. Let's dive into the markets here really quick. The DXY is 103, really not much movement since Friday, basically. I'm going to rip through these. The 10-year is 3.5, ish, right around there. So not much movement in the markets right now. And again, like we have been saying for a long time as well, the credit markets, the debt market is what moves really everything else. So you see the seizing up in the market 14, 15 years ago. That led to the great financial crisis. You saw the seizing up of the repo market in September 2019. That led to what we saw in the lockdown era and all the printing going on there. And it'll happen again. And there's many people out there saying that it's going to be 5, 10 trillion right away. Right when as soon as the credit markets lock up this time, and before it was 800 billion, then it was 2, 3, 4 billion or a trillion, and then now it's going to be 5, 10 trillion immediately. So as you can see, there's this exponential curve of craziness that we have to get into because we're in a debt and credit based system. The dollar is backed by zero. It's backed by nothing. It's not backed by the U.S. military. People have, what is the U.S. military going to do? How are they going to bail you out? Right? That just means they're forcing you to pay in that currency. That's all that means. So the confidence can go away. So when people realize that this is a con job, it's a confidence game, they will all flee and they'll go to the hardest money on earth, which I believe is Bitcoin. And I believe they will all do that because money is a zero-sum game. Humans have done that with gold, silver for 5,000 years. Now we have something even harder than that. So we can debate the merits of that overall, but on surface, that's how money works. That's indisputable fact. That's how it's worked for thousands of years. It's a zero-sum game. People always go, Gresham's Law, they always seek out the hardest money and the best money. That's why I believe this is inevitable. And then you see, we've done videos about ChatGPT and the things going on there. You can see when everyone has their own little AI walking around with them or in their head or whatever that is, again, we're not going down these roads, but what do you think the AI is going to be using? You think they're going to be shooting bars of gold back and forth to each other or dollars? No, of course not. They're going to be using Bitcoin. They're going to be using the hardest asset known to man. That's the hardest and biggest supercomputer to ever exist in humanity. They're going to use that to be streaming sats back and forth to each other, streaming monetary value back and forth to each other. And the AIs that we're using that we all have as our personal companions or whatever it is. And that's, again, a different story for a different day. The morality, the ethics, all these things. However, we know these things are coming to some degree or another, so we have to be ready for them. And again, the markets, Bitcoin up a tiny bit here, 17,000, above 17,000, 17,200 or so. Stocks about sideways. Gold and silver up a little bit, and oil up just a little bit. So again, not much going on in the markets necessarily, but we know, and even these day-to-day undulations, not that, it is what it is. We're going to keep telling you what's going on, but remember, the moral of the story is that the central banks want to squeeze the middle class and the poor, and they want you to own nothing and be happy. That is the point of all this. Why do you think, if they, let's be real here, let's take Bitcoin out of it. If they wanted you to be free, we could use gold and silver, right? We could use that. And if people had inherent qualities, which I believe they do, but if they just use that, every single person was perfect, I guess, and we didn't have human nature, I guess, to deal with and have our free will and free choice. If everyone just operated what they should do in a morally ethical world, then you technically could use a dollar. You could use fiat currencies. You could use gold and silver, because everyone, even if there's centralization, it wouldn't matter, because everyone's always making the right choice for themselves and for the people around them. So it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't have to trust but verify. That would just not exist. Unfortunately, we do have, I shouldn't say unfortunately, fortunately, we do have free will, and we do have free choice. And we have things that we have to trust and verify. We have to go into this and see what is actually going on. We can't just sit there and say, hey, you know what, 12 guys sitting at the FOMC, you're going to figure out what's going on for us in our life. I mean, what a disaster. I mean, people 100 years from now are going to think, what in the world were you guys doing? Literally, what were you guys doing? So the point being is we're going to follow these day to day, what's going on. The things we want to look for, though, are the huge changes in the debt and credit markets, the seizing up, gas not coming out of the pumps, your credit card seizing up, huge lockups in the system. That's when we know there are massive problems. And that's when truly, when the Fed, central banks are going to come in overdrive and print 5, 10 trillion right away. Rates come back down to zero. You're going to see just mass chaos and them trying to come in and just bail everything out. And the buckets keep getting bigger that they're bailing the boat out with. And eventually the system does collapse. My theory, though, is that it doesn't collapse until they have CBDCs ready. I think they truly want the most pain possible. We got our fiat foods, we got our fiat currency, we got our fiat fantasy sports, we got our fiat sports in general, we got fiat entertainment, Hollywood, all this garbage, just garbage everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Garbage TikTok, garbage, fiat social media, fiat Snapchat, everything. It's all garbage. And we know this because, like TikTok, for example, why are the Chinese kids getting, or at least perceivably, why are they getting education shown to them? And here we're getting, people talking about 100 genders. Why is that? Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, why is that happening? Why is there a difference there, right? So this doesn't happen on a hard money standard. And this is why we must be prepared. We must be prepared mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally for what is coming. Make no mistake. The end of what I was going to say was, if they truly cared about you, and they being government, central banks, the alphabet soup agencies, global agencies, if they truly cared about you, they would not be printing money with reckless abandon. They would put us on a gold standard or something to that effect. They would put us on a Bitcoin standard if they truly cared about you, your well-being, you growing your wealth long-term, but they don't. It's a credit and debt-based system. They've rigged the game, and the poor and middle class are who are going to pay for all this, to bail everything out, bail-ins, bailouts. We just did the videos on the bail-ins, and that's them scooping in the cash right out of your bank. This is coming. I mean, how many more times? We just showed the FDIC saying this is going to happen, you're going to get bailed in, and we don't want to alarm anybody. This is literally the people running the banks here in America that are there to protect your assets from that happening, and they're thinking, oh yeah, that's going to happen. And again, 9 trillion in assets they need to be protecting, and they have 125 billion or so to protect the 9 trillion. So you do the math, you figure it out, you make the decision that's best for you. This is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. We're here to point out what's going on. I don't have all the answers. I don't know. I'm a student. I am a student of this. I've been studying this for 12 years, and I know there's a game being played. It started with The Creature from Jekyll Island, reading it 12, 13 years ago in the Great Financial Crisis as I left Michigan State University, playing hockey, going in to play professional hockey. And in the pros, you got a lot of time. When you're playing pro sports, you got a lot of time. You come into the rink or go to the field or whatever it is, go to the gym, and you're there for 2, 3, 4 hours a day, and it's 8 to 12, and then you're gone. You're having lunch, and then the rest of the day is yours. All I did was study. I studied this stuff, built businesses on the side after I retired after a few years, and saw this as an investor and as a student, which I still am, and I saw it as an investor and a business owner, having real estate and owning real estate and having a real estate business. this is what's coming. This is what's happening. I'm seeing it with my eyes, and I'm seeing it unfold. The things I thought were happening or would happen are happening now. So please be prepared. Please like and subscribe to these videos. Share them out to your friends, to family, to people you think need to hear this message, need to hear it from someone else. I know how hard it is. It's hard to be Messiah in your own town, and I understand that. One of my missions I know has been to come in the last 12 years since I left hockey, last 10, 12 years, and spread the message to as many friends and family members. And I'm very, very blessed and grateful that I have been able to get through to a lot of friends and family. And again, it is hard to be a Messiah in your own town, though. And sometimes it's easier to believe people outside of your family. So again, if you have friends, family that need to hear this message, please share it with them. Please, if you want to see something else, please let us know that as well. Please, we get about 80 to 100% likes on our videos, and the people that don't like them, we don't know why. I don't know if it's because they don't like what's happening, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's terrible, Brandon. And I don't like it. I don't know. We don't have any comments people saying why they don't like it or what's going on. So please let me know if there's something that we could do to better this and to make better content going forward, which we're going to work on this year a lot. And I'll be back in my office as well and be doing content on the computer and stuff like that and at the whiteboard. But I appreciate you guys, appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have. It's the only finite asset we have besides Bitcoin. So to me, that's the only fair trade is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is time and time is Bitcoin. And remember, Bitcoin is repricing everything. This is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. Price is the least important aspect, though. Think about the homeless man in San Francisco, the couple in Nigeria, the single woman in Thailand that can now be banked. They never had that chance before, and now they can. If they have an internet connection, they can receive monetary value instantaneously with no middleman, permissionless, trustless, for fractions of a penny. We've never, ever had that ability before. We now have that with backed by the strongest computer network ever known to man, and the energy, the encryption behind that, the cryptography. It's incredible. And I just feel so blessed. We have the ability to own our own money, own our own security, own our own food, own our own land. We have so many blessings here and now as people in this world that our ancestors never, ever could have dreamed of having. So let's make use of it now. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.